Welcome to the Bill Cartwright Show with our special guest, USF alum basketball player, NBA basketball player, Wallace Bryant. Wallace, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Bill. Good morning, everyone. How's it going?
You know, what I want to talk about today is this happens to a lot of players. Just talk about, I was just reviewing your stops that you made as an NBA player. I mean, everybody knows you're from Gary. Everybody knows you went to the University of San Francisco, had a great career. But let's talk about all those stops you had. Now, is that right? You had like 15 or 16 different stops? That's
Yes,
amazing.
yes. We went from the Bulls to the Clippers to Orlando. The Bulls to Dallas. From Dallas to the Clippers to Orlando to Philadelphia to Italy, Spain, Argentina, Greece, to Argentina, and just a lot of places, a lot of locations where I got a chance to contribute to the success of teams and other players.
Well, because that's a lot of elements to deal with, of coaches, of different players, of speaking another language. You're over Europe, you have to get yourself around. Give me a couple, three things of the hardest thing to do once you switch teams and cities like that?
Hardest thing to do would be to relocate the things that you accommodated, or the things you bought, such as I ended up buying multi-system player that I could take anywhere. Traveling with luggage, mainly not even luggage, but big containers. Having containers to carry around with your collection of music, your collection of videos, your collection of clothing, things of that nature. I started finding that it made more sense to travel and have a sastre, what they called it, or a soup maker in the city, or to have things that didn't weigh much that you could take back and forth easy. So it mainly became clothing, and then you accommodate yourselves there with having them provide a stereo system, having them provide a video system. By the time I started traveling to Greece and Argentina, I had a trunk that had miniature speakers. I had a collection of my jazz music because I was really into jazz and things of that nature. And then the clothes were minimum. Sweaters, you're going to have about 5 suits. You got to have sweaters. You got to have things that you're going to wear to the game. But I've started also accumulating sweatsuits, because those also became things that you could wear to the game and still look sharp in. So, I ended up wearing a lot of sweatsuits, and those of the teams that I played for, they would provide those sweatsuits.
They talk about, because, the schedule's so different. I played in the NBA. Now, I've never played in Europe, but you guys play twice a week. So that's got to be a different type of pressure, because all those games are really important.
Yeah, there were some places where I played 3 times a week. We would play Saturday, Friday, Sunday, and come back and play Monday, or play once during the week and then twice on the weekend. Especially in Italy, you played on the Sundays, and then you'll play on the Wednesdays or Fridays. And that was a rotating system. You could be home one day and then away the next.
What's a normal practice? I mean, I didn't play over there, but people talk about how hard the practices are and how long they are, and
You're looking at
different coaches. So, how different is it?
You're looking at 2.5 hours to 3 hours to 3.5 hour practices. You're doing conditioning at the beginning of the season, and you're doing that 2-3 times a day.
Wow.
You know, I remember playing for a Barcelona, Spain. You would go in the morning, you do conditioning, you come back and you do some conditioning of weights and jumping in the afternoon, and then you go right into practice. So you're
Wow.
doing 3 days all the way up to pretty much the first week of the first game. And I mean, we did nice 3-hour practices, you know.
What were you thinking then? Because you had already played in the NBA. Did you think that was excessive? Did you think it was normal for them?
I thought it was normal for them. I found that, they did a lot of conditioning during the week too. We did runs, hour run. Just go we'd run around things for an hour, just to keep our aerobic up. And I felt that sometimes I thought, okay, we're going to train and we'll go home, eat, and relax. They supply a lot of things, like you'll have a chef. You have if you're in a good system, they'll supply you with a maid, a chef, a nice flat to live in, and in Greece, I had a driver. In Italy, I had a driver. I had a good flat. I had the Swiss Alps as the backdrop of my kitchen, so I could wash dishes looking out a window into the Swiss Alps. And at that younger age of, that young age of 30, 28, 29, 30, you're like really enjoying these things. They provide you with a vehicle. They provide you with drivers. There are places where you can go and sign and eat. There's places where you can have meals prepared for you by the people that they send to you, by the people that come and clean your home or do your laundry and things of that nature. In Greece, I had a lady that came every other day and cleaned up, made sure the laundry was done, folded and ironed, and things of that nature, and would prepare a meal. So I was like, oh, man, this is really nice. And all I had to do was practice hard, which I spent maybe about 5 to 6 hours a day practicing. I go do weights. I go do running bleachers and things of that nature just to stay up to par and work on my moves. Keep the moves primed. And I'm blessed to be able to have averaged at least 20 to 22 points a game overseas on every team that I played for, while getting 10 to 12 rebounds, on the average. So I was blessed to do that. In the NBA, it's a lot different. You're playing, there's only 2 Americans on every team of European play. There's only 2 Americans or 2 foreigners. Whereas in the NBA, you're playing against a strong 5 NBA players, centers that are just as strong, just as quick, just as talented as you are. You have the greatest, and then you have good players. And you run in that in a nightly basis of 4 to 5 times a week you're playing. Whereas in the overseas, you're playing twice a week, 3 times a week at the max. And you get a chance to go, divert your attention, as I did in Italy when I went to places like Florence. I go to Venice and spend some time. I go to Milan and spend a few hours, or go there for a weekend that I wasn't playing, or during the week, and enjoy the views and things like that. Travel to Rome by train from Bologna, Italy to Rome by train, which is a beautiful train ride. Views and spectacular views and good food, and then come back and just enjoy the city of Rome, enjoy the city of Bologna, enjoy the city of Florence, enjoy the city of Venice, enjoy the Tuscany areas of Italy. And you get to see Bermeo, the Alps, and all of that. Go over to Chiasco, Lugano, which is actually a Swiss across the Swiss border, and go in Lugano, Switzerland. Go into Chiasco, Switzerland, where they had they literally had the Monte Carlo style casinos. So you get a lot to experience. I used to go over to Switzerland just to get to the McDonald's and to get a USA Today, USA Today newspaper to read. So you get to go over there and buy American food also, because they had these American shops that carried pancakes and mix and stuff like that. to keep you more Americanized. But it was a great experience.
Hey, talk about because you played a lot of different cities in Europe. Give me two of your favorite.
I would say Spain and Italy. Italy and Spain in that form. There's so much to see in Italy. There's so much to see in Spain. And playing in Barcelona, it was a beautiful city. You could take great walks. You could have fish, seafood. You could have some of everything. They had plays going on. They had bullfights. So you get a lot of cultural experiences while traveling overseas. Italy was just amazing because of the cities that you go to were so historic.
Wow.
You know, going to Rome and playing an all-star game in Rome, and you have Daryl Dawkins and Sugar Ray, I think it was Sugar Ray to play for the New York Nets.
Yeah.
And you got Tony Zeno and other guys that you've heard about and that you looked up to, that you're playing. You see Bob McAdoo. You run into Iceman Gervin. He's playing for Manteca in Spain. He's playing for Manteca in Manresa, Spain, and Manresa, Spain. He's playing for TDK was the name of the team. And I'm playing. I got a picture of me standing beside him. And I'm playing against him, and I keep it because it's historic. I played against a guy that I admired and watched his posters. I had his poster on my wall in college. You remember I had that Iceman poster with him sitting in the ice throne in my bed, and you seen it in my campus, my college campus room. So I got to play against some of the guys I looked up to, Daryl Dawkins, that came over, Jim Brewer. I literally got to play with Jim Brewer a year after he won the NBA championship playing with the Lakers. So that was kind of like a big brother effect. I have a good player, a great player, and he's teaching me how to play as I'm competing for championship. Earl King that played for he played for Maccabi Tel Aviv. This guy is a great player for Maccabi Tel Aviv, and he comes to my hotel looking for me, and I don't really even know him, just to show me around. You had guys that mentored and led you into being a great player, being a respected player, because you had a lot to feed on, such as yourself. Remember the torch you handed me in college and how you taught me how to become a student athlete. You told me what was right to do, what was wrong to do. That was the type of thing I kind of had most of my career until I got, when I got into the Mavericks and the Magic, it was like kind of different. You're kind of on your own to teach yourself. Whereas you didn't really have any teachers. You had to teach yourself. You had to step up and compete and play hard. And then things would happen that you didn't understand. Like you have a great camp and then still be having to wait for a contract. And waiting for that contract would send you overseas because they would sign you quicker, guarantee it, and pay your taxes.
So, next question. So how did you know? I kind of knew I was done playing when I almost got hurt a couple times. I didn't. So how did you know when you were going to be done?
I really didn't know, Bill. I really didn't know. I found out by warning sign. My warning sign was that I had a right leg, right knee that would swell up after games. And I'd ice it down and still I start getting, these intense pain shots. And I wasn't allowing anyone to shoot me with anything. I'm not into the needle, So you're not going to shoot medicine into my leg. I was the type of guy that didn't never need to take anything. I didn't take any Advil. I just tried to ice it down. But I think it was with my right knee in the 1997. My right knee it really started. It would really painfully be tender, and I had to slow down my play. I would have to rest it a bit more. And in 97, after all those years of playing, I decided I'm tired of the pain. But then I got home, and it's like the pain just disappeared. I went on playing pickup ball. I mean, I was playing pickup ball at a place called North Dallas Athletic Club and in the city of Dallas, Texas. And all the pros and semi-pros would show up there to play. So you go in the gym, you got the Randy White of the Mavericks. You got most of the Mavericks. Then you have people like Primetime. You got Mike. You got most of these football players that were great football players, that would come in and play. So I ended up playing, say, another 4 or 5 years after that, just until about 2002, playing pickup ball, going on trips with the Dallas Mavericks. I mean, not the Dallas Mavericks, the Dallas Cowboys, to play what they call benefit games in places like Wyoming, Colorado, and places like Southern Texas, Mexico, San Antonio, and play those games that were their benefit games. And you get to travel, and they pay all your expenses, and you enjoy. So I did that for about another 3 to 5 years, and I ended up starting to coach in 1997 by picking up some AAU teams and coaching for a program called Top Achievers in Dallas, Texas.
So is that something you wanted to do?
I kind of had fun doing it. It was fun to be able to give back to the young children, the young men that were coming up, that liked the game, that enjoyed it and competed hard. I had some pretty good high school teams that played AAU ball. One of them was Team Dallas. One of them was called Top Achievers, and we really competed. And we won quite a few medallions, quite a few tournaments, and enjoyed the competition. And we would travel. I mean, we go to Houston, to Austin, to San Antonio. We go all the way to New Orleans from Dallas, Texas, and we drive and go compete by buses, vans, by SUVs. I mean, we go and compete every weekend. During the summertime, we're at it. So that ended up bringing me into the coaching, and that's where I started learning a lot more about how to handle basketball situations, game situations, how to break presses, how to run plays and keep the team moving, and then it started just coming to me in daydreams. I'll be sitting there, all of a sudden this player just pop in my head, and I had to go stop and write it down so I could remember it. And then I started adding those things together, and I ended up becoming a pretty good coach, where guys would like to play for me, And once they started liking to play for me, it made me become even more, say, aggressive, or more wanting to play than anything. I mean, wanting to coach more so than anything else. I had a hunger for it.
So let's talk about this. I had a list of like 5 different things I wanted to do. The last thing I wanted to do was coach. And of course, that's the thing I did. What's some of the things that you wanted to do once you got done playing?
Well, I really wanted to travel more. I wanted to see more. I wanted to see the places I hadn't seen. I was able to travel to Japan and to China and play some tournaments over there. So I ended up doing that, even more so. I have a director over here on this end that made me darker though, baby. Yeah, I have to move forward more because it made me darker. There we go. Yes. Yeah, I had a chance to go over to China first, and then afterwards to play play in tournaments in the summer in China. And I scrimmaged a couple of national teams from China, and we played in these tournaments, and we ended up winning. And that kind of excited me to be able to keep playing, and keep enjoying the sport and different levels while waiting on contracts or waiting on things to do, to enhance my knowledge of the game. And the worst experience I had would have been in Colombia, in Colombia, southern South America. Yeah. And that was the worst experience I had, where I didn't get a chance to really show my talents because the coach didn't put me in. I said, why you bring me down here not to put me in the game? So I just said, well, you don't need me. You need somebody else because you're not putting me in the game. And I didn't understand that. So I just ended up like, I can't play for you because you don't really want to use me. So I said, can I go back home? That was the only time I've ever asked anybody, can I go back home?
Yeah, it is. In that situation, it is a little tough. Everybody has their own thoughts. When I got done playing, I was beat up. And also I had something that happened to me that was kind of weird that happened to the other players as well. I experienced a lot of anxiety, and I was actually medicated for a year because there was a sense of there was something wrong. There wasn't anything wrong other than I wasn't playing. Did you have any anxiety after you got done playing?
Yes, I did. I think we tend to feel our self-worth. And I felt rejected at times, but I wanted to feel wanted. I wanted to feel appreciated. And I wanted to feel respected for the time I put in.
Yeah.
But the system can make you feel, especially the professional system, it can sometimes make you feel worthless. It becomes a harsh machine. And the harshness, of it all, I showed up early to practice. I left practice late. One word can change the whole picture of you from the wrong person. A person that doesn't value you showing up early. A person that doesn't value your work ethic or the time you put in by staying over late. Practice starts at 11, and I'm there at 9:45, lifting weights, getting in some extra shots, working on extra moves, and I leave after practice, I'm leaving at 2:00. Practice ended at, say, 12:45. And I'm leaving at 2, and I go to get my meal in, get a little rest, and then come back at a different hour and work again. But it's not being recognized. That's when it becomes frustrating. Or your value, they put a sum of on top of you that's not worth your true value. Imagine if we played now. We were in perfect condition and we played now. I'm not a Bill Cartwright, but I'm a good, solid player. Bill Cartwright is a great player. So I do look at it like this. Bill should get, yes, his umpteen or his $25 million a year. But if Bill is getting $25 million a year and I'm his bag up center, I should at least be getting 8 to 10. You see what I mean? I look at it like that. You look at the league and you see certain players. My frustration, Concac, played for SMU, went and played for the Hawks. No way should he get a better contract than Dominique Williams. Than Dominique Wilkins. No better contract should he get than I got, because we're the same type of player, only. So
Yeah.
it frustrates that they also, now we have a better programs than we had when I was in the pros. They're better programs. They're better trainers in the league. There's more help for the NBA player now than it was when we were first started. A lot more. It's a lot different, you know. Think about it. Even our college days are different. What we had for weight equipment compared to what they have now and the trainers that they have now, remember, we had really no weight equipment. Yeah, we had a universal that was broke down.
Yeah. But this is what I'm asking, is that with all the attention that we got, high school, college, NBA, there's a point where we have to move forward. So, and also, I kind of equate that to being an astronaut. So if you're an astronaut and you landed on the moon, you've already hit a height. So what do you do after that? What's after sports? What's after the thing that you've been working for your whole life? You got it. You were fortunate. You were blessed. Now what? What's next?
Family.
What's next for us? For me, I was able to coach for a long time, and then I ended up here back at the University of San Francisco trying to make a contribution. What are you looking to do to make a contribution the rest of your life?
Well, right now I coach at Bethel Christian School in Redding, California. I've been able to give, I try to give back by coaching, by teaching, by sharing my life experiences and my testimonies of where I've been, what I've done, how I did it, how I was chosen, because some of it wasn't just me. It was the help that was around me. It was the people that surrounded me, the people that came in and helped me. So I try and share that life experience with my players, with the people I run into. I share my testimonies about how I've been through life, how I had to make certain decisions, not only from help, but with also by myself without help. You know, and I just share my experiences. There are frustrations, there are levels that you reach where you're like, thank you for allowing me to reach this level. I don't have to turn and look back from that level, but there are memories, there are great memories, there are great paths, that there are bright decisions and there are bad decisions that I've made that I've been forgiven for, I've forgiven myself for, and I keep moving forward because smiling faces of the children that I deal with, of the young athletes that I deal with, that truly appreciate me where I'm at now. You know, I have children and guys that come from college that have played in college that come back and thank me for that, you know, for helping them make that jump.
And let's talk about this. Where does your faith come from? Is that something that happened when you were young, or is that something that you met somebody, but where does that come from?
Well, it started back in when God really sought me. He started seeking me. And I made a choice when I was with the Dallas Mavericks to give my life to the Lord. And from doing that, my faith just tends to grow. Things have happened, miracles, I had to look back. Hit by a car twice before I was 11 years old.
Wow, I
You
did
would
not know
think I
that.
would learn how to. You would think I don't learn how to stay out of the street.
Stay on the road.
Yes, imagine that. Before I was at the age of 11, I had been hit by a car twice. That my life was spared. And I have this cut over my eye, which is 26 stitches, 13 on the inside and 13 on the outside from that one of the car incidents. It threw me up in the air. I came down on another bumper. I was on 79th Street in Chicago, at 9 years old and got hit by a car. After the the UPS driver said, "You can go." As soon as I got down the street, the Cadillac hit me and it lifted me off the ground, hit a car bumper on the way down and cut my head. And then I was blessed to be in front of a barbershop. The guys came out of the barbershop, pulled me out of the street, put the towels on me, and then ambulance came, took me, sewed me up, and hey, thankful, and learned a lesson, you know. But just life, there's a lot of good things that have happened in my life that kept my faith strong. My mother and my grandmother and my father and my coach always prayed for me. So I have a praying family. My wife prays for me now. She prayed the prayer, the continual going and putting myself in the word of the Lord has blessed me to keep a strong faith and hope in all things. And I'm thankful for it. We all go through things in our lives, as you and I have both experienced, blood clots out of nowhere. Here you go, blood clot out of nowhere. And in that, I end up passing out, and that's all in the Lord's hand. I'm here because He is in my steps. He arranged my steps. He did not want me to be gone as of yet. He wants me to continue to contribute to the growth of youth in both life and in sports, while sharing my experiences of life.
Let's talk about your family a little bit. What's everybody up to?
Well, my brothers, I have brothers that are in executives at Verizon and AT&T. I have a brother that lives in Florida, a brother that lives in Arkansas, and a brother that lives in Dallas. And they're enjoying life. They're doing well. Their health is well. They're experiencing joy. One of my brothers just got remarried for the second time he's been married, and he's enjoying life with his new bride, who is a very kind person. I'm married. My wife is a blessing to me, a thrill, a joy. She covers all aspects of my prayer and prayer beliefs. We share in everything. No complications at all. Enjoying that part of family. I have sons. I have 4 sons, one from my wife, and then 3 from another wife, and they're all doing well. 2 of them work in insurance. One works as a manager at a clothing store. So they're all doing quite well. We have 19 grandchildren. Wow. Yes, they all have. They have children. We have multiplied into a generation. A second and third generation. We're enjoying the grandchildren. We go and visit them on occasions. Especially those that live here in California. We see them almost every other week. Those that don't, they live in Texas. I spend time FaceTiming and Facebooking and seeing them through Facebook and FaceTime. But yeah, enjoying the family. The family has been really a basis of enjoyment since you're not in the basketball as much. When I left the area of the Bay, I can't come to USF games as much as I was but I'm still enjoying them from a distance, and from podcasts and from streaming and from television. But yeah, family has been important.
Well, and you've got a big one.
Yes.
Well, Wallace, I want to thank you very much for being on the show. You've had quite the adventure, and
Yes.
and it continues. So
Yes, it does. I am really enjoying it. Thankful to be here.
we just need to get you back to a game because you can go check it out. Our team's not bad this year. We're 7-3 right now. We can really shoot the basketball. But of course, just like you, I'm dying for some post ups, so I'm still looking for that. So
Yeah.
hopefully,
That mastery is not there. I mean, we're the last of the big centers to play down in the post.
dinosaurs.
Yeah, yeah. But I love it. I'm glad I was able to experience that. That's something that'll stay with me for a lifetime and
Yes.
generations to come.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, and get yourself down here.
I definitely will. Thank you, Bill. God bless.